Welcome to our online class on punctuation. Here, you'll learn the basic rules of punctuation in English in order to develop an efficient writing. First, I would like to say that punctuation is very important and that it may even save lives. But how can punctuation save lives? If you don't believe me, take a look at the following examples. The first sentence, without a comma, reads like, "We're going to cut and paste kids." The second sentence reads like this, "We're going to cut and paste kids." As you can see, the meaning is severely altered. For these reasons, punctuation rules really save lives. This second example is very similar to the first one. The first sentence reads, "Let's eat, Grandpa." If we take a look at the second one, it says, "Let's eat, Grandpa." Also, in this example, commas alter intonation and meaning. Another great example about how commas save lives. This is a third example. As you can notice, both sentences change their meaning completely according to the punctuation rules used. A woman without her man is nothing. Or, a woman without her man is nothing. I guess we have to be really careful with punctuation. Now that you have noticed the importance of punctuation, we can go to serious business. Some basic rules of punctuation. But before beginning with the rules, we have to understand two important concepts. The first one is dependent clause. Sentences are sometimes built up by clauses. Clauses are little strings of words that make meaning. The dependent clauses are those strings of words that give you an incomplete meaning. Take a look at the following example. When the president arrives, he'll begin his speech. The first part of the sentence is a dependent clause because it doesn't make complete meaning on its own. If I get to your house and suddenly tell you, "When the president arrives," you will probably have a question mark face because there is something missing in the sentence. This clause needs the other one to make meaning. He'll begin his speech. It means that clause number 1 depends on clause number 2. Normally, dependent clauses have words that make them dependent, such as if, after, although, because, when, among others. On the contrary, an independent clause doesn't depend on another one to have a complete meaning. Now, take a look at the following example. The beach is a lot of fun, but the mountains are even better. The first clause is independent because it makes meaning on its own. If I tell you, "The beach is a lot of fun," you would not be waiting for another part of the sentence to understand what I mean. After clearing out those important concepts, we can begin with the proper use of commas. We use commas to separate dependent clauses from independent ones. In this example, "when he came" is a dependent clause, and "we had already eaten" is an independent one. In the middle, we have a comma. It is important that we always connect clauses by using punctuation marks or connectors. We should never leave clauses without any kind of linking words or punctuation. We also use commas before coordinating conjunctions. Coordinating conjunctions are a set of words that connect ideas of equal weight. In the example, we can observe how a comma is placed before the coordinator so. There is a mnemonic rule for coordinating conjunctions, and it is to call them fanboys words. Fanboys is the acronyms for the conjunctions for, and, but, or, yet, so. Remember, use commas before these words to write a new clause in a sentence. This slide is very explicit. We separate independent clauses either with periods or semicolons. In the example, there are two clauses that make meaning on their own. They weren't dangerous criminals, period or semicolon. They were detectives in disguise. I have placed both a semicolon and a period in the example, but we should use either a period or a semicolon. Another way of connecting clauses is by using connectors with appropriate punctuation. For this purpose, I have also come up with a mnemonic rule that I call the period semicolon connector comma formula. When connecting two clauses with connectors, we must either use a period or a semicolon, place the connector, and then a comma, like in the example. They were good friends, period or semicolon, then the connector, however, then a comma, and then the rest of the sentence, which in this case is, they fought a lot. In summary, remember to separate independent clauses with periods or semicolons. He often watched TV when there were only reruns. Here you have a period or a semicolon and then the next clause. She preferred to read instead. Also, remember to separate independent clauses from dependent clauses with commas. When we arrived, the man started explaining what happened. Here, the dependent clause is when we arrived, then we have a comma, and the second clause, which is an independent clause. Also, remember to use commas before coordinating conjunctions, and that coordinating conjunctions are for, and, nor, but, or, yet, so. In this example, the gardens are dry and the road to the shore is dusty. We can see a comma before and. Finally, never write clauses without connectors, conjunctions, or punctuation. You can only be young once, you can be immature forever. This example is incorrect. So, these were some of the basic rules for punctuation. By following them, your writing will achieve full coherence, and that will result in better communication. And remember, correct punctuation saves lives.